Have you ever caught yourself staring out a window, the world blurring into a soft haze, as a single name drifts into your mind? It's not a loud thought, not a shout, but a whisper, like the rustle of leaves on a quiet autumn evening. Maybe it's the scent of rain-soaked pavement, or the strum of a guitar in a song you haven't heard in years that pulls them back. Suddenly, there they are, vivid as ever, occupying a corner of your heart you thought you'd locked away. You tell yourself you're over it, that you've moved on. You fill your days with work, laughter, new faces. But in the stillness, when the world grows quiet, that whisper returns, persistent, unyielding. Why, you wonder, does this person linger when you've tried so hard to let them go? Let me take you to a moment that might feel familiar. Picture a woman named Lila Harper, 32 years old, sitting on her balcony in a small coastal town. The air smells of salt and seaweed, and the waves crash rhythmically below. Lila's life is full. She's a graphic designer with a tight-knit group of friends, a cozy apartment filled with plants, and a calendar packed with weekend hikes. Yet, as she sips her chamomile tea, her thoughts drift to Ethan, a man she loved fiercely at 25. They parted ways 7 years ago after a whirlwind romance that ended in missteps and unspoken goodbyes. She hasn't seen him since, hasn't even stalked his social media in years. So why, on this ordinary Tuesday night, does his laugh echo in her mind? Why does she see his crooked smile in the flicker of the street lamp below? Lila's story isn't unique. It's universal. We've all had an Ethan, a Sarah, a someone who lingers like a half-forgotten dream. Dr. Elias Voss, a renowned psychologist from the early 20th century, believed these thoughts are never random. At 77, Voss dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of the human psyche. Sitting in his Zurich study, surrounded by books and the faint scent of pipe smoke, he argued that the unconscious mind is like a vast ocean, holding every memory, every wound, every unspoken longing. When someone keeps resurfacing in your thoughts, it's not because they're special or because you're weak. It's because your psyche is waving a flag, saying, "Pay attention. There's something here you need to see." This isn't about nostalgia or a longing for the past. It's deeper, more profound. Voss taught that the people who haunt us are mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves we haven't fully faced. For Lila, Ethan isn't just a man she once loved. He's a symbol of a time when she felt alive, unguarded, full of dreams she's since tucked away. Her fixation isn't about him. It's about the spark she's buried under years of routine and practicality. The more she tries to push Ethan out of her mind, scrolling through her phone, blasting music, planning her next project, the louder his memory grows. Voss would say, this is no accident. The things we resist, he wrote, are the things that persist, like a song stuck on repeat until we finally listen to the lyrics. Think back to your own life. Who's the person that slips into your thoughts when you least expect it? Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you, a lover who left, or even a stranger who left an impression in a fleeting moment. What is it about them that lingers? Is it their voice, their presence, or something less tangible? A feeling they stirred? A question they left unanswered? Voss believed that to free ourselves, we must stop asking, "Why can't I forget them?" and start asking, "What are they showing me about myself?" Because the truth is, they're not just a memory, they're a key to unlocking something vital within you. Let's meet another soul wrestling with this. Marcus Reed, 29, is a high school history teacher in a bustling city. His classroom is a haven of maps and old books where he inspires kids with stories of the past. But at night, when he's grading papers under the glow of a desk lamp, his thoughts drift to Nora, a college friend who once challenged his every belief. They'd spend hours debating philosophy in a cramped cafe, the air thick with coffee and ideas. Nora was bold, unapologetic, living life with a fearlessness Marcus envied. Their friendship faded after graduation, but 5 years later, her voice still echoes in his quiet moments. Why? Because Nora embodied a part of Marcus he's suppressed. The courage to take risks, to live without overthinking every step. Voss would call this projection, a psychological force where we cast our inner desires or fears onto others. Marcus doesn't miss Nora as much as he misses the version of himself he was around her, uninhibited, curious, alive. When he thinks of her, he's not just remembering their late-night talks. He's grappling with the question of why he settled for a safe, predictable life. Projection, Voss explained, tricks us into believing our fixation is about the other person, when really it's about what they awaken in us. Maybe you felt this too, an admiration for someone that feels almost magnetic. Perhaps they have a confidence you secretly crave, a creativity you've stifled, or a freedom you've never dared to claim. Your mind clings to them because they're a mirror, reflecting what's missing in you. But there's another side to this mirror. Sometimes the people who linger are the ones who hurt us most. Take Lila again. Ethan didn't just leave her heart bruised, he left her questioning her worth. She replays their last fight, searching for what she could have said differently. Voss would say this isn't about Ethan. It's about the wound he exposed, the fear of not being enough. Until Lila faces that fear, her mind will keep circling back, like a detective obsessed with an unsolved case. What about you? Who's left you replaying old scenes, searching for answers? What wound are they pointing to? A fear of rejection? A need for validation? The key isn't to silence these thoughts, but to listen to what they're trying to tell you. Consider another story. Amara Chen, 41, a corporate lawyer who commands boardrooms with precision. Yet, in rare quiet moments, her thoughts drift to her estranged sister, Jade, 38. They haven't spoken in a decade since a bitter argument over their parents' estate. Amara tells herself she's moved on, but Jade's sharp words still sting, surfacing when Amara's alone in her sleek, high-rise apartment. Why? Because Jade represents more than a family rift. She's a reminder of Amara's struggle to forgive, to let go of control. Voss would say Amara's fixation isn't about Jade's betrayal, but about the part of Amara that feels unlovable, unworthy of reconciliation. Until she confronts that, Jade will remain a ghost in her mind. These thoughts aren't random. They're signals from your unconscious, pointing to unresolved emotions or suppressed parts of yourself. Voss believed the psyche doesn't let go until you face what it's showing you. So ask yourself, what does this person represent to you? What emotions do they stir? Are they revealing a longing for connection, a fear of failure, or a strength you've buried? The answers lie not in them, but in the reflection they hold up to you. Sometimes, these lingering thoughts go beyond projection. They tap into something ancient, universal, woven into the fabric of the human soul. Voss called these archetypes primal patterns that shape how we love, connect, and obsess. Imagine a man named Theo Alvarez, 35, a carpenter with a quiet strength, crafting furniture in a sunlit workshop. He's happily married, yet he can't stop thinking about Clara, a poet he met at a book reading 2 years ago. Their conversation was brief, but her words, raw, unguarded, left a mark. Clara felt like a muse, a spark that Theo can't shake, even as he carves wood to the rhythm of his steady life. Voss would say Clara awakened Theo's anima, the unconscious feminine energy within him. At 77, Voss wrote that archetypes like the anima or animus, the masculine within women, act like invisible magnets, drawing us to people who embody what our psyche craves. Clara's creativity stirred Theo's own buried artistry, a side he's neglected since choosing a practical career. This isn't just about Clara, it's about the archetype she represents. The soulful, expressive energy Theo's unconscious is urging him to embrace. Have you ever felt a connection that seemed destined, almost mythical? Maybe it's someone who feels familiar, like they've always been part of you. That's the archetype at work, pulling you toward wholeness. Think about the people who've left the deepest mark on you. Do they share a pattern, a certain warmth, intensity, or mystery? For Lila, Ethan was one in a string of dreamers she's loved, each one reflecting her own stifled imagination. For Marcus, Nora fits a pattern of bold spirits who challenge his caution. These aren't coincidences. They're your psyche seeking balance, using others to point you toward what you've ignored. Voss believed love and obsession often stem from this search for completeness, not from the person themselves. That's why some connections feel larger than life. They're not just about the heart, they're about the soul's journey to itself. But what happens when these thoughts don't just linger? They grip you, pulling you back to pain you thought you'd buried. Let's return to Amara. Her nights are haunted not just by Jade, but by the weight of their last words, spoken in a dimly lit kitchen a decade ago. Amara replays Jade's accusation that she's cold, incapable of love. The memory stings because it echoes a deeper fear, that Amara's success has come at the cost of her warmth. Voss would say this fixation is her psyche's way of signaling an unhealed wound, like a body sending pain to an untreated injury. Your mind works the same way. When someone lingers, it's because they've touched something raw, a fear of abandonment, a wound of betrayal. For Marcus, Nora's departure after college felt like a rejection, stirring his old insecurities about being left behind. For Theo, Clara's fleeting presence reminded him of a creative dream he abandoned, a loss that still aches. These people aren't the source of the pain. They're the trigger, exposing what's been buried. Voss taught that suppressing these wounds only gives them power. The more you run, the louder they call until you turn and face them. Picture Lila again, walking along the beach at dusk, the sand cool under her feet. She's tired of Ethan's ghost in her mind. One evening, she sits by the water, closes her eyes, and asks herself, "What am I really holding on to?" The answer comes slowly. He's not just Ethan. He's the freedom she felt at 25, the artist she stopped being. This isn't about winning him back. It's about reclaiming her own spark. What about you? What wound is your fixation pointing to? Is it a need for closure, a fear of being unseen? The path to freedom starts with naming it, not ignoring it. Sometimes, the people who haunt us are more than mirrors. They're shadows, the hidden parts of ourselves we've pushed away. Voss called this the shadow self, a realm of traits and emotions we've rejected. For Lila, her shadow is the dreamer she's silenced, the part of her that once painted canvases at dawn. Ethan's memory keeps resurfacing because he reflects that buried artist, daring her to bring it back to light. Meet Priya Patel, 27, a nurse with a gentle smile and a knack for calming patients. By day, she's a healer, but in private, she's haunted by memories of her old friend Zara, a fiercely independent woman who cut ties after Priya sided with family expectations over their shared rebellion. Zara's boldness, her refusal to conform, is Priya's shadow, the part of her that yearns to break free from tradition. Every time Zara crosses her mind, it's not just guilt, it's Priya's unconscious begging her to embrace her own defiance. Voss believed the shadow shapes our obsessions. For Marcus, Nora represents his shadow courage, the risk-taker he's suppressed to play it safe. For Amara, Jade reflects her shadow warmth, the vulnerability she's buried under her polished exterior. Your shadow is there too, in the people you can't forget. Maybe they embody a passion you've stifled, a fear you've dodged, or a truth you've ignored. Until you face it, they'll keep appearing, like mirrors you can't escape. So, ask yourself, what part of me is this person revealing? What have I been avoiding? The moment you name your shadow, its grip begins to loosen. But naming the shadow is just the start. True freedom comes from weaving these hidden parts into your life, a journey Voss called individuation. For Lila, it means picking up a paintbrush again, letting her inner artist breathe. One morning, she sets up an easel in her apartment, the smell of acrylics filling the air. It's messy, imperfect, but it feels like coming home. She's not erasing Ethan's memory. She's reclaiming the part of herself she projected onto him. The thoughts of him start to fade, not because she forced them away, but because she's answered their call. For Theo, individuation means carving a sculpture, not just furniture, letting his anima's creativity flow. For Priya, it's writing a letter to Zara, not to send, but to honor her own rebellious spirit. For Marcus, it's signing up for a philosophy course, feeding the curiosity Nora once sparked. And for Amara, it's reaching out to Jade, not for reconciliation, but to practice vulnerability to soften her guarded heart. Individuation isn't about forgetting. It's about understanding why someone mattered and taking back the power you gave them. You can do this too. Instead of pushing thoughts away, ask, what part of me needs reclaiming? Maybe it's a talent you've buried, a wound you've ignored, or a dream you've deferred. Start small. Write a journal entry. Take a class. Have a hard conversation. Each step integrates what you've projected, making you whole. Voss would say, you've given these people a piece of your soul. Individuation is how you call it back, not by force, but by understanding. The moment you do, their hold on you weakens, and you step closer to peace. Now, imagine standing at a crossroads, the weight of old thoughts lifting like fog. For Lila, painting becomes her sanctuary, each brushstroke a reclaiming of her spirit. Marcus debates ideas with new friends, his courage growing. Priya starts saying no to expectations, her defiance blooming. Theo's sculptures draw admirers, his creativity alive. Amara and Jade meet for coffee, their talk tentative but real, a step toward healing. These aren't just endings, they're beginnings, proof that the people who haunted you were guiding you back to yourself. But what happens when you move beyond letting go? When you start building a life that honors all you've learned? This is where the journey deepens, where you craft a future rooted in self-discovery. Picture Lila, now 33, hosting an art show in her coastal town. Her paintings, bold, vibrant, fill a small gallery, the air buzzing with chatter and clinking glasses. Friends and strangers admire her work, But what matters most is how alive she feels, no longer haunted by Ethan's ghost. She's not just painting, she's living the freedom she once projected onto him. Or take Marcus, now 30, leading a philosophy club at his school. His students lean in, captivated, as he channels the boldness Nora inspired. He's not chasing her memory anymore. He's embodying the courage she mirrored. Priya, 28, moves to a new city, free from family pressures, her life a canvas of her own design. Theo, 36, opens a studio, his sculptures a testament to the anima he's embraced. Amara, 42, starts mentoring young lawyers, her warmth shining through, a gift from her reconciliation with Jade. This is the promise of self-discovery, not just freedom from old thoughts, but a life that reflects your truest self. Voss believed every person who lingers in your mind is a teacher, guiding you toward wholeness. The pain, the longing, the obsession, they're not your enemies. They're your map, leading you home. So imagine your own future. What would it look like to live fully integrated, your shadows embraced, your projections reclaimed? Maybe it's writing the book you've deferred, forgiving the friend who hurt you, or chasing the career you've feared. Each choice is a step toward a life that's not just free, but full. The path isn't easy. It demands courage, patience, a willingness to face what's hidden. But every step transforms you. Voss saw every struggle as a doorway to growth, every person as a chance to evolve. The universe, he believed, conspires to help you become who you're meant to be. So take a deep breath and ask, what am I ready to release? What life do I want to build? The answers are within you, waiting to be claimed. Your transformation starts now. If this resonates, if you're ready to dive deeper into your own journey, subscribe to this channel. We explore the mind's mysteries, the universe's wisdom, and thinkers like Voss to unlock your potential. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and turn on notifications for more. The power to rewrite your story is yours. Embrace it. See you next time.